So we're up to that time of year again, and I've been throwing it out there, and I'm gonna do a video on this, and it's similar to the whole I'm a Bruins fan thing, but different in that this has nothing to do with who I cheer for, who I don't. Media. This time of year, Stanley Cup's about done. We're getting into free agency, and media now is about clicks, and I've been watching a lot of different media companies as they're what look like empires are crumbling, in part because what works now to sell advertising dollars isn't necessarily news. Okay? So it's not necessarily news, it's often speculation. And what we're getting into now is speculation. So I talked yesterday about Taylor Hall, right? And I only did that because there was this big, hubbub over whether or not Taylor Hall actually wants to stay in New Jersey. Oh, he wants out. Rumor has it he wants out, even though the only quote that was in the article I read, and everywhere else was just quoting back to that article, was his agent saying, Ray and I talk regularly. I can't talk to you about what we talk about. So that means he wants out. No, it doesn't. Now, the funny thing is that we've gone with Line, the reason I'm wearing Jets, from Line could technically get an offer sheet this summer. The Jets would match unless it was some ridiculous offer sheet. I'm telling you, if you give Line $10 plus million this summer, you're insane. And I don't think any GM does that. He had 30 goals this year. You don't just throw, the whole vault at the guy and go, hey, take as much as you want and leave the rest for me. I think it's ridiculous. And yet, I'm reading this article. I'm not going to say where because I don't want people to say, oh, he's throwing so and so under the bus. But I'm reading in an article, basically along the lines of, well, we don't know where negotiations are right now between Line and the Jets, but he could get an offer sheet and he'd be likely to go for. And I'm thinking, well, no. Patrick Laine is 21 years of age. He's never been in this situation before. He's coming out of his entry-level contract. We have no idea. Laine may sit down with Kevin Cheveldayoff and say, hey, I think I can play better. The amount of money you think I'm worth right now, I'm going to sit down and sign that contract for 2 years, and I'm going to prove over the next couple of years I'm a 50-goal scorer, and you're going to have to come back to this table in 2 years and pay me a hell of a lot more money. You're going to pay me what I think I'm worth. And with everything I've seen from Laine, from the weird interview before he was drafted, but basically before he was drafted saying he felt that he should have been number one, he saw himself as being just as good as Austin Matthews. He likely still feels that way. He likely looks back on this season and goes, geez, I can play better than that. So, I've never seen anything from Laine other than confidence. I wouldn't go as far as to say arrogance. I think if you stand next to somebody else who's your peer and you go, I think I do my job as well as they do, it's not arrogance, it's just confidence. And so with Laine, I've never seen it as arrogance, but we're into that part of the year now where people will wildly speculate. And I'm gonna go back to Jacob Trouba on this. So, when people ask me, I think Trouba's getting moved, and I say yes, that's based on the fact that over a couple of summers now, we've seen contentious negotiations between Winnipeg and Trouba, where the Jets have said, we think you're worth this, and Trouba's answer is, I'm worth more than that. And now we've seen Trouba develop, so he is definitely worth what he thought he was the whole time, and the odds of there being a really good negotiation between the two at this point, pretty slim. Can it happen? Absolutely. But don't get sucked in by somebody who's going to say, well, we think this might happen. Because we can all do that. And I certainly, I always look at the source. And I don't just look at the source and say, oh, this website's reporting this, I should go do a video on it. I go and I look around the reputable sources, and we can all argue over what is and what isn't reputable. But I look on the American side, I look on the Canadian side. I also look on forums and say, all right, is anybody talking about this? And if the answer's no, or it's just wild speculation at this point, I have to kind of say, well, there's nothing to this. So I think it's easy to throw Laine's name up there and go, well, if we put this article up, then Jets fans are going to click on it, and everybody's going to click on it, And because of the fact that I'm doing this video and we're talking about I don't want wild speculation and all this, I'm not putting a thumbnail on this video that'll be of anybody that would get a bunch of clicks. So I'm going to try to find somebody nice and obscure and see if people can even figure out who the thumbnail is. That's my plan for this. So just as like kind of a heads up, if you see something where it's like some significantly crazy headline like Line A wants out of Winnipeg, this is it, they're moving them, that's it, this is happening. Up until the whole Tavares thing unraveled on July 1st, up until we knew he was going to sign with the Leafs, there were all kinds of wild speculations of where he might go and what he might do. The difference is when I make a guess, I tell you I'm making a guess. But when you're reading it, and it comes across as, well, this is what's going to happen. It looks like this is where this is headed. It gets into language which makes it sound like they know, and there's no way really to know. No player in negotiation right now with a team is going to go to a media source and say, I don't like the contracts they're offering me, because now you're going to sour that relationship. No team is going to do that either. I don't like what he's demanding. That's ridiculous. You're not going to see a GM going to the media and complaining about a player on June 4th. It's just not going to happen. And a team isn't going to... And no agent in their right mind who doesn't want to get fired is going to start complaining and lead to his player maybe getting traded or ending up somewhere else because they started beaking off about, he wants this amount or this isn't going well. We don't start to see that at all on any level until we already know it's contentious. Until something happens where, it's a contentious negotiation, this isn't going well. Then you might hear something leak out, and even then, you got to take it with a grain of salt. So there you go. Just sort of my opinion on this, my 2 cents, and the reason why I didn't do a video regarding the Line A thing, and when I read the article on it, I went, there's absolutely nothing here. Nothing. This is literally pure speculation, and it'll generate clicks, and it'll have all these people going, oh my God, somebody's going to give him an offer sheet. Who? How much? For how long? And how crazy are they? Because if they're going to take Line A out of Winnipeg, they got to give him a crazy offer Winnipeg won't match. So there you go. Hopefully that makes Jets fans feel a little bit better. And for people who frequent those sites, take all of it with a grain of salt. Because it's not just one site. That's why I'm not saying anything, because I know it's more than one site. Take all of it with a grain of salt. How many people have we seen traded? How many of them yesterday were saying Kevin Hayes was going to be a Philadelphia Flyer? None. I did see an article on one that said, could the Chicago Blackhawks be going to get Kevin Hayes? Why this makes a lot of sense. And I thought, no. Because he just got moved to the Flyers. So up until July 1st, or up until maybe the draft, if negotiations don't go well and they move his rights somewhere else, up until likely July 1st, his rights belong to the Flyers, and they get first crack at signing him. GMs don't go to members of the press and go, hey, we're just about to trade somebody. Generally doesn't work that way. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. May sanity prevail this offseason. Probably not. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and thank you guys so much for watching. I will talk to you again soon.